Hello friends, welcome back to Misty Moon Designs. Thank you so much for stopping by. In my channel we do unboxings and jewelry making tutorials, and I'm so excited because today we're going to make a really gorgeous beaded floral bracelet, and we're going to be using the beads that came in Sam's bead box for the month of January. Now if you're not familiar with that box, I'll leave some information down below in the description section of this video, along with a link to the website and a coupon code in case you're interested. And don't forget that I always model my pieces at the end of my tutorials, so please stick around for that. I'm going to show you how to create this stunning flower-inspired bracelet using Czech glass beads and a beautiful metal branch connector. This design has a whimsical botanical feel that's perfect for any jewelry lover. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned beader, this project is both fun and rewarding. Plus, hopefully, you'll walk away with some new techniques and tips. Now, before we jump into the tutorial, I do want to show you the contents of Sam's bead box. I'm going to spend a few minutes showing you, so if you want to skip that portion, you can always click on the timestamps down below. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And here we have Sam's bead box for the month of January 2025. The name of this box is Cherry Blossoms, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be spring themed. What do you think, guys? Let's find out. And here's the insert. This month's box captures the beauty of cherry blossoms with a palette of soft pinks, luminous whites, and silky reds. Candy jade and rhodonite tubes bring rich, romantic hues, while the sparkle of cubic zirconia, beautiful facets, and pink luster add a refined elegance. Floral metals and ceramic rounds evoke the grace and movement of cherry blossom branches in bloom. We can't wait to see what you make. And down here it says share your designs in our Gem Chat Facebook group with the hashtag SamSpeedbox January 2025. That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. Here's my candy. These look amazing, they really do, and I love flowers. And today we get to see the colors because I have sunlight coming in through the window, which makes a difference when you're looking at the color of beads. Let me get organized and we'll go through each item. Here are the first 5 strands, and I can't believe I did this, but I did not have my lights on when I was opening up the box, and I've never done that before. I guess because of the sunlight, I didn't think it was necessary, but it does make a difference. But anyway, I have my lights on now, and here are the first 5 strands. There's a total of 15 strands in this month's box, so that's quite generous. I'm loving the colors, I really am. They're so pretty. Let's take a look at this one. This is a strand of Czech glass hibiscus flower beads, and by the way, all of the beads in Sam's bead boxes are either gemstones or Czech glass. But anyway, the color of these is rustic pink, and these measure 8.5 millimeters, and there's a total of 16. These are rhodonite tube beads, and it's pink rhodonite. These measure 4 by 13 millimeters, and some of them may be shorter, 4 by 12 millimeters. That's quite common with gemstones. Sometimes there are variations. But anyway, this is a 7-inch strand. I don't know how many beads are on the strand, it's not listed, but it looks like about 16 or so. These are called fire polished turbine beads. The sizes are graduated, as you can see. They range in size from 8 millimeters to 13 millimeters, and the color is white, silk pink with a bronze wash. And here we have 3 very pretty faceted pear beads. It's candy jade, and the color is ruby, and they dyed, and they measure 13 by 18 millimeters. These are melon beads, and these measure 5 millimeters, and the color is pink opal with silver wash. You can see the silver wash in the little grooves there. Let me get some more beads. Here are the next 5 strands. As you can see, we have a variety of sizes and shapes. I really like that. Let's take a look at this one. These are bicones, and the color is pink golden luster, and these measure 6 millimeters in size, and this is a 30-piece strand. And look at the way the sun is shining through that bead. It's so pretty, and I love the coating on the surface. The color of these bicones is pink with a golden luster. These are candy jade smooth rounds, and the color is garnet, and they dyed, and these measure between 8 and 8.5 millimeters, and this is a 10-inch strand. Look at that beautiful garnet. Here we have a strand of cubic zirconia faceted rounds, and boy, you can really see that sparkle in the sunlight. The color is pink, and these measure 3 millimeters in size, and this is a 7-inch strand. Very, very pretty. And here we have a strand of table cut starburst square beads. The color is white silk with a pink luster wash. And these measure 10.5 millimeters and there's a total of 8. Here we have a strand of fire polished cathedral beads. And it's a color mix, as you can see. We have white, transparent pink, translucent pink, opaque white, transparent red, and transparent pink. These measure 6 millimeters in size, and this is a 15-piece strand. Let me get some more beads. Here are the next 5 strands. Lots of red here, very appropriate for Valentine's, which is coming up real soon. Let's take a look at this one. This is a strand of Czech glass drops. The color is red and they measure 6 by 9 millimeters, and there's a total of 22 pieces. Here we have a strand of faceted fire polish rounds. The color is cherry blossoms mix, and these measure 4 millimeters, and it's a total of 40. And as you can see, we have transparent red, opaque red, and then a pink color, I think, a very soft pink, and maybe some white as well. It's hard to tell because I think some of the red is reflecting on those other beads. And look at these beautiful rose beads. Oh my gosh, these are so gorgeous. These are hematite, but I think it's synthetic hematite, and they measure 8 millimeters in size, and there's a total of 8. And here we have a strand of fire polished beryl beads, and as you can see, the color is red, and these measure 6 by 9 millimeters, and there's a total of 14. And here we have a strand of leaf beads. They're actually listed as cherry leaf beads, and the color is red silk with a gold wash, and these measure 7.5 by 12 millimeters, and there's a total of 20 pieces. I love these as well. So these are the strands. Let me get the loose items now. And here are the loose items. There's actually one missing that I did not get. I did not get the poppy flower beads. I think it was a 4-piece set. But anyway, I may contact them. Sometimes that happens, but it doesn't happen that often, I will say. It's very rare. But anyway, here we have more variation, which I love, and we have some focal beads, and I love dragonflies. Let's take a look at one of them. As you can see, it's transparent. I'm not sure if the crystal is pink, but the dragonfly is definitely pink, as you can see, and the bead has an AB finish. I think it is pink, actually, now that I'm seeing it. It's drilled down the center from top to bottom. I love these. Let me slide some of these on my rod. Here are 5 of them. There's a total of 15 in this set, and these are listed as large hole ceramic floral round beads, and you can see that each one has a flower painted on the surface. How pretty are these? And there's the hole. It's pretty large. So if you wanted to use these on leather cord, you could. Here we have 2 flower beads. The color is pink and white silk mix with a gold wash, and these measure 18 millimeters across. These are so gorgeous. I love that gold wash. And here we have a very pretty carved bird bead. It's etched on the surface, and it has a bronze wash, and the color of the crystal is red, and that etched effect gives it a rustic look. And here we have some seed beads. I'm very happy to see this because I like to bead weave from time to time. But anyway, these are Miyuki rounds, and they're size 11O, and the color is cherry blossom mix. I can see red, white, pink, and I think clear as well. And it looks like they have an AB finish, so that's nice. And there are 5 grams of seed beads in this tube. Are these adorable or what? These are heart-shaped beads, and there are 2 colors, red silk and clear, and they measure 8 millimeters across. These are absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? And there's a total of 30, by the way, as you can see. There's quite a few. Like I said before, perfect for Valentine's. So this is the whole collection. I wanted to give you a quick peek before we jump into the tutorial. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'll leave some information down below if you want to go check it out at the website. And don't forget that Sam's Bead Shop carries a whole bunch of other things besides the bead box, and they do sell extras from time to time. So anyway, let me pull out the beads we're going to use for today's project. Well, you wouldn't guess what I found. I actually found the missing items. I have this drawer under my desk, and the drawer was slightly opened, and they must have fallen in when I was taking them out of the bag. And there were actually 2 bags. One bag had these poppy flower beads, and the other bag had these branch links and these charms. Like I said before, it's very rare that you get a box with missing items. They're usually very good about that. So I apologize for the confusion, but when I was putting everything back in the box, I wanted to start working on a project, and I usually keep my tools inside that drawer. So when I went to pull out my tools is when I found them. And guys, these are absolutely gorgeous. I'm so glad that I found them. Let me put these on a rod. How pretty are these? Like I said, they're called poppy flower beads, and the color is pink with white silk mix, and they have a copper wash, and they measure 15 millimeters across. And here we have a cherry blossom branch link, and it measures 18.5 by 31.5 millimeters, and it has 2 loops, as you can see, and we get a total of 2. Aren't these adorable? I love that they have 2 leaves as well. Let me show you the back. There's the back. And I love that antique bronze finish. So these will definitely give a piece a very organic look. And here we have 4 charms. They have the same finish as these. It's kind of a bronze with a black wash. And I like that they have a nice big loop. There's the back. These are adorable as well, and they're going to look great with these branch links. But anyway, these measure 11 by 15 millimeters. I think the 15 millimeters includes the loop if you measure it this way. Okay, now that we've seen everything, I'm going to experiment a little bit, and then we'll jump into the project. Here are some of the items we're going to be using for the project. Usually what I do is I do the unboxing, and then I play with the beads for a couple of days before I come up with the design. That's usually how I film my tutorials. So once I film the tutorial and I have the actual finished item, I do some filming of photography for the intros. That's just my battle rhythm, that's how I do it, in case you're wondering. Another question I get very often is, how do I come up with my designs? Basically, guys, it's no mystery. I do the unboxing, I lay the beads out on a mat, and then I start playing with them. Sometimes I come up with something right away, other times it takes me a couple of days. I'm not going to say it's easy, because it isn't. There are times when I feel more creative than others. But anyway, that's how I come up with today's design. As you can see, I have 2 focal beads. Then I have these little tiny flower beads, which I absolutely love. I think they're adorable. And of course, I couldn't resist using this component. And I'm going to create a bunch of dangles with these. In addition to these beads, I'm going to use a closed ring. I got that ring on Amazon. They came in a box with different sizes, as you can see. And of course, I will be using some head pins and a lobster clasp and jump rings and a piece of chain for the extended chain. Now for these beads here, I'm going to use some 20 gauge wire. I'm going to use this one right here. As you can see, it's in a bronze color. And actually, I'm missing a couple of beads. I'm missing these 2. These are leaf beads. I'm going to create little dangles with these as well. And for the leaf beads, I'm going to use this wire. This is 22 gauge, and it's in a bronze color as well. And for the rest of them, I'm going to use ball head pins. But I'll bring those out in just a few moments. So let me go ahead and show you how to mount these on wire. I have a piece of wire here, and it's relatively long because I'm going to use it on this big bead. Now another question that I get is, how do I know where to create my bend and how big the loop should be? I usually like to create my bend at 3/8 of an inch down, and I really don't know what kind of loop that creates. I just know that I like the size. So that's something that you're going to have to figure out on your own. And another tip that I can give you, if you're trying to figure out how long your piece of wire has to be, is to hold it up against the bead like this. And that way you can make sure that you have 3/8 of an inch on each end. So now using these pliers, I'm going to grab the wire at 3/8 of an inch down, create a bend. With my round nose pliers, I'm going to grab the end, making sure that it's flush with my barrels, and form a loop. You want to make sure you close your loop, and you want to make sure that it's centered. And the reason I know where to put it on my pliers is due to practice. I've been doing this for many years, and that's why I know. But one thing you can do is to just mark your pliers with a marker, and that way you can be consistent with your loops. So now I'm going to go ahead and slide my bead on. Let's see where the hole is. Sometimes it's difficult to see where the hole is. There it is. Now if you'll notice, the surface down here has a little indentation or a groove, whereas up here it doesn't. So that's where I'm going to put my first loop, just because it's easier. And now I'm going to grab the wire at the top of the bead. Now normally I would leave just a little space for the bend, but today I'm going to leave a little bit longer space, and I'll explain why later on. And now I need to cut off the excess, leaving 3/8 of an inch. Using my round nose pliers, I'm going to grab the end again, making sure that it's flush with my barrels, and create a loop. And now I'm going to grab the loop with these pliers and grab the other one with these to line them up. Let me actually close this loop a little bit. That's better. And like I said, I'm going to explain why I left a little gap there in just a few moments. Normally you wouldn't want to do that, but I have a reason. It's a bit unconventional, but I tried it the other day and it works just fine. I might as well tell you, I'm going to hang a little dangle off that space. Now let me show you what I'm going to do with the leaf beads. I'm going to do some wrap loops for these. And this time I have a piece of 22 gauge wire and it measures about 2.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and slide one of the beads on like this, bend both ends upward and cross them at the top. Just like that. Using these pliers, I'm going to bend this piece upward like that. And now using these pliers, I'm going to grab the wire right beside the intersection where the two beads connect. I'm going to grab this one and create a couple of wraps. And that's really all you need. You don't need more than 2 wraps. Using flush cutters, I'm going to snip off the excess and tuck in that little end to make sure that it's not sticking out. So now I'm going to bend this wire back, snip off the excess, leaving 3/8 of an inch, grab the end with my round nose pliers, and form a loop. Making sure the loop is closed and the end is sitting right above the wraps like that. So that's how I'm going to do the other one. And it's okay to do simple loops with 22 gauge. I've tested it before, and unless you pull on it really, really hard, it's not going to come apart. I know some of you are probably wondering about the strength of it. I would never show you anything that doesn't work, guys. Just trust me on that. In other words, everything I teach you, I've actually tested. Now I'm going to show you how to mount these on a ball head pin. One of these is actually going to be for the extended chain, so let me put it off to the side for the time being. I have a ball head pin here. Let me show you how to mount this heart bead. I'm going to insert the ball head pin through the top of the heart so that it sits like this. Of course, you could do it the other way if you wanted to. It's just easier to create the loop and the wraps on this end. So I'm going to grab the wire with the tip of my pliers like this, right by the bead, bend it, slide down the nose of my pliers a little bit so I can create a loop, wrap the tail around the nose, flip the pliers around, continue to wrap to the back. So now I have a loop. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Take the ring and slide it into the loop that I just created, like this. I'm going to grab the loop with my skinny pliers. These are actually crimping pliers, but I like to use these for this purpose because they have skinny tips and they grab really well. I'm sure you've seen me use them in previous tutorials. And now using these, I'm going to grab the tail and I'm going to create a couple of wraps. And now I need to snip off the excess. And of course, I'm going to tuck that little end in. So now I've connected a dangle to the ring, just like that. I'm going to do the rest of them the same way, and actually this flower belongs over here. I'm not sure how it ended up over there, because my ring's going to have 4 dangles. And to connect this one, I'm simply going to open up this loop, like that, and slide the ring into it, like this. Now this ring's going to have an additional 2 beads. It's going to have these 2 beads right here, this pink one and this red one. And this one's going to have a simple loop, just like the daisies or these flowers. And this one's going to be attached to that end. I know it's a little bit confusing, but I don't want to do it just yet. I want to connect this dangle to that bead once I have the rest of these mounted on wire. And I don't want to do it right now because it's going to take too long. But let me just go over it with you again. These 5 beads and this one are going to have simple loops just like this bead. These 2 beads here are going to be mounted on a ball head pin, just like I did with this heart bead. And this one will be mounted on 22 gauge wire, just like I did with this leaf bead. So let me go ahead and do it off camera, and then I'll show you everything before I connect it. So I'll see you in a few moments. Okay, I'm back, and I have all my beads mounted on wire, as you can see. These 5 beads plus this focal bead, this one and this one all have simple loops. The leaf dangles have a kind of a wrap loop, and the rest of these have regular wrap loops. So let me go into the design process a little bit. It's kind of hard to explain, but I wanted something that was obviously floral or botanical, and I also wanted it to be kind of random. But at the same time, I wanted a portion of it to be uniform, which is why I decided to put the little flower beads on this end. And a lot of it had to do with the number of beads that I had of each type and the colors as well. So the box came with plenty of these, but limited amounts of these. And that's why I decided to put these on this side. And the other thing that I looked at is the color distribution. So I have pink on this side. This is a combination of pink and white. And then we have the reds, the transparency levels. This one's a combination of pink and red. And of course we have this metal component and a transparent bead at the end. But honestly guys, I just did what I thought looked good at the time. Sometimes I'm in the mood for something more symmetrical, and other times I'm in a mood for something a little bit more random. So I have something organized and uniform on this side and something a little bit more chaotic on this side. Actually, chaotic is not the right term. Random is better. Another very important thing that I need to mention, this component needs to sit flat on your wrist, so the loops have to be parallel, which means that this one at the end has to have loops that are vertical. And if the loops on this one are vertical, then this one has to have loops that are vertical as well. So let's see if I've achieved that. Vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. As you can see, I haven't achieved that, but that's easy to fix. I just need to change the orientation of this loop here. So I'm going to grab it with my pliers like this, and grab this one with another set, and turn them so they're perpendicular. I think that's right. I mean, it's not critical that you do it, but that's a good rule of thumb. And I always try to make it so that bracelets or necklaces sit properly. To me, that's very, very important. So now we just need to connect the whole thing, and that's very easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and open up this loop, slide the component into it. Whoops. Close up my loop. Open up one of the loops of this component. Slide this branch component into it, like that. Close up the loop. Open up this loop now. Slide the ring into it, like this. Close it up. Now I do want 2 dangles on one side of the loop and 2 dangles on the other side. Like that. Let me open up this loop now. Make sure I connect it properly. I think that's right. As you can see, I have 2 dangles on the top side of the ring and 2 dangles on the bottom side. Let me go ahead and connect the rest. So everything's connected now, and I just need to connect this leaf dangle. So here's another consideration. If I have a leaf dangle on this side of the bracelet, then I'm going to want to put this one on this side, like this. That's just another little detail, guys, but it really doesn't matter if you decide to put it on the other side. So now I'm going to open up the loop of this dangle. And I'm going to slide it into the space like this. And now let me close up this loop. It's a bit tight, but I think I can do it. There we go. As you can see, it fits very nicely in that space. I really like it. So now we just need to attach the clasp. Now I've already attached a dangle to my extended chain, and I just did a simple loop with wraps, the same way that I did these dangles. But obviously, instead of attaching it to a ring, I slid the link of the chain into the loop before I created the wraps. And I don't like so many links, so I'm going to snip off some of them. I think I'm going to give myself 4 links. And these links aren't soldered, they actually have a cut, so I'm going to open up this link here. Just like that. I have a 6mm jump ring. Let me open it up. Slide my chain into it, my extended chain. Slide it onto this loop here like this. Close up my jump ring. And at this end, I'm going to attach a lobster clasp. Here I have a lobster clasp, and I have slid it into a 4mm jump ring, which I've already opened, as you can see. Let me close it up. And actually, let me close up this loop a little bit more. That's better. It is a bit fiddly because of the dangles, but once it's on, it should be okay. So there's my bracelet. Isn't it beautiful? I hope you like it. Let me show you what it looks like. This jump ring actually wasn't closed very well. Sometimes it's hard to see when I'm filming because of the angle. That's better. And that's what it looks like. I'm not going to do it up because it's really difficult for me, but I think you get the idea. And this one actually flips around, so it really doesn't matter, to be honest, what side of the component you put it on. But that's what makes this bracelet so pretty. It has a lot of movement. And I will model it again for you at the end of this video, so please stick around for that. And I did measure it. It measures about 7 inches if you include the jump rings and everything. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Like I said, I am going to put this bracelet on for you. I'm going to attach the lobster clasp so you'll get a better idea of how it looks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.